Hi friends, I'm Chelsea Grayson coming to you once again from the Office of the CEO. This is my show where I can help you be more successful in your current career, and I can also help you successfully transition to a new career. So today I wanted to give you some tips for how to successfully handle when you're frustrated about something at work, when something is disgruntling you. I think fundamentally my message today is that getting mad at work, storming into your boss's office, taking a meeting with her where you're laying out all of your frustrations and everything that's really bothering you and demanding change. Getting mad generally at work is really never going to be successful for you. It might feel great in the moment. You might feel like, wow, I'm empowered and I really took my own career and my job into my own hands. And you might feel like you've really done something proactively for yourself. But trust me, in the long run, all you've really done is call your boss's baby ugly, and you've come across as a pissy person who doesn't really seem like a team player and isn't one to be trusted to fall in line when your boss issues instructions to the team. They will always be wondering in the back of their mind, how pissed off is this person? Are they disgruntled enough to sabotage this particular project? Are they disgruntled a little bit less than that, but at least enough to be negligent on something so they don't do a great job? And so you will probably put that relationship in permanent disrepair. So let me go ahead and give you my tips with that underlying theme being in the back of your mind. And again, I don't mean for this to be a message that, okay, well, you should just lay down and take it. You certainly shouldn't be passive about your career. If you've watched any of my previous episodes, you know that's not at all what my message is. But there's a time and a place for everything. And a lot of times you just need to sit back, assess where you are, and leave your anger for another day when you're actually in control of things and you don't risk all of the negative consequences of expressing your anger to a higher up. So here are my tips. So the first one probably doesn't surprise you based on how I just introed this topic, which is wait for your heat of passion to cool down. Center yourself just a little bit, right? I mean, think about first of all, always wait 24 hours after something has pissed you off. Always wait 24 hours after something's happened, you're experiencing an emotional reaction to it before you actually express that reaction to anybody outside of your own brain. Write an email, a draft email, expressing all of your thoughts on the subject. Rewrite it, refine it a little bit, get it perfect. Get it so where you're sort of like, wow, this is the silver bullet. This lays out everything that's wrong with what frustrated me. This lays out all of the ways I feel like this should have been handled differently. This lays out all of the ways in which I feel like I should be remunerated, or, how you should solve what this has done for me. And then delete the email or save it somewhere safe. Never put a recipient in the to box, because you are never going to send that email. Anything written that at all expresses your frustrations is probably never a good idea, because it's always going to be taken out of context. It can be forwarded along to all sorts of people in the organization. And I'm talking here, of course, except to the extent that you're running the organization, right? It's always going to be taken out of context, and it will most certainly be placed in your personnel file. And I don't care how great you thought you wrote it. I don't care how great you thought your points were. There's always something else going on, and we'll get to this a little bit later, and that you don't know about. And your email will seem either ridiculous or over the top in connection with the bigger context of what's happening. So writing that email is going to feel great. It's going to help you calm your heat of passion. Never send that email. Really think about, during this period of cooling off, is this a battle that I really want to take on? In fact, is there any battle I really want to take on here at my workplace? Right? But is this a battle I really want to take on? Or is this something where I can just store it away? I can moderate my own reactions and my own behavior. I can actually use it to my advantage behind the scenes. And this isn't necessarily anything I really need to bring to the top anyways. So take that period of cooling off. So if after that period of cooling off, you're still feeling like, no, I've really got to take this to the next level, I've really got to see if I can fix this or ameliorate this situation, the next thing you should do is focus on the good parts of your job, right? So do you make great money? Do you make money, period, right? I mean, we all need money to pay for mortgage or rent or groceries or bills or, whatever it is. And if there's not a lot of other jobs out there, which right now there really aren't, is it going to be okay if you lose this source of income? Are there great benefits at this job, right? Do you work for an airline where maybe your pay isn't so great, but you get to fly for free all over the place, and so does your spouse? What is this job a great stepping stone on your ultimate career path? Is this job not particularly the one that you want, but you see promotions ahead, or you see a way that you can lateral into other business divisions at your company, which really will get you on the career path that you're looking for? Is this just a job that's going to look great on your resume moving forward, and you just need to tick this box, and so you just need to sort of dig in and entrench yourself for the next year and just sort of deal with it, right? Do you love your coworkers? It's really hard to find a really cohesive, wonderful group of coworkers these days, especially when we're all working virtually for the most part. Do you have a great boss? Is your boss a great leader? Can you continue to learn from this boss? Are there still things that you feel like you can develop with your boss where you develop a really nice long-term relationship that'll last even past this job, right? Is it just, period, a great company? Is it a company that stands for something that you also stand for? Did you go to work there because your morals align with the morals that are espoused by the top management of that company? So take a real good assessment and figure out, what are the good parts of this job? That also might help you with the cooling off period, by the way, but it'll also help you sort of sort through, how big is this frustration compared to all of these great positives of working at this gig? Then number 3, I want you to stand back and think about what the history is of this, whatever the source of your frustration is, right? So if you didn't get a promotion, if a particular project is being run in a way that you wouldn't have run this project, if there are things generally going on in your group, other people are getting promotions, other people are getting certain projects, if you got a bad evaluation on something and you're not really quite sure why, is there history to this particular issue? Are there internal politics or bureaucracies? What is the bigger picture if you can possibly figure that out? Sometimes you can figure it out by sort of asking around. Sometimes, and this is really the best way, you can sit back and actually, if you really take the time, you can surmise, oh, wow, okay, well, my boss made this decision about me because she's getting pushback from her boss, and she's probably frustrated about that. So maybe it's not so great to go complain to her about this because I'm just piling on what she's already frustrated about, and it could be a little bit humiliating or embarrassing, just rubbing it in her face that I'm also upset about something that she really had no control over. So again, really try to see where your piece of the puzzle fits in to the rest of that puzzle. It's not always completely about you. It feels like it, and it's personally impacting you at this point, but there's probably all sorts of other moving pieces, all sorts of other levers that are being pulled, probably lots of other people that are frustrated in this situation and wished it would have gone a different way, but they can't do anything about it. And so just engage in some human empathy about the big picture and what other people are going through here and what other things have impacted this situation. All right. Number 4, pick the right time. If you have decided that you need to have a conversation, again, not over email, if you've decided that it is necessary for you to air out a grievance or have some sort of a discussion about what's frustrating you, pick the right time. Just because you have a meeting on the books today with your boss about some other issue doesn't mean that you can shoehorn what you're frustrated or disgruntled about into that meeting successfully. Sometimes you can, if it's been scheduled for an hour and you know that your topic is going to take, that the topic on the books is going to take 45 minutes, you can make sure to try to cut it off at 45 and then use the last 15 minutes to broach the issue maybe. But that's not always a great idea, right? Your boss might love the fact that you ended 45 minutes, giving her an additional 15 minutes on her calendar to do something else, maybe go to the bathroom or something, right? And so she might not welcome that when she just thought the meeting was over, all of a sudden now you want to squeeze in this additional topic, and wow, it's because you're disgruntled about something. Nobody's ever really going to be excited about that. Also, if you haven't really specifically put it on the calendar for the very issue that you want to really talk about, that you're disgruntled about, they might feel like they're a little bit blindsided, right? They haven't had a chance to think about it and prepare and maybe sort of tell you what the context is once they know what you want to talk about. So I wouldn't suggest trying to shoehorn it into a meeting that is about other issues. If you have to, you have to, but the best idea is to put this on the calendar specifically to talk about this. You don't have to specifically say in the invitation, oh, it's because I didn't get this promotion, I'm really upset about it, right? You can frame it sort of, right, if you missed a promotion, you can frame it sort of the future of our team or something, the future of the structure of our team or something like that, right? You can also try to make this a topic of conversation at your annual or biannual performance review. That's totally fair game because that is your meeting to do with as you please once you get your performance evaluation. So I think it's perfectly fine, even if you haven't specified ahead of time that you discuss this sort of thing at your annual or biannual performance review. And so if coincidentally it's coming up within a month or so, I would just probably wait and air this frustration out at that meeting. And the cool part is then it goes into your personnel file in a way that you've controlled really well, right? Because you're bringing the topic up, you're going to be very well prepared and articulate, and you'll have brought something up that'll be placed in your personnel file as an extremely rational discussion about your career path. So one thing I will say logistically, if you're going to set this as a specific meeting on the calendar, don't make it at the end of the day. People are exhausted at the end of the day. They just want to get out. They're really not going to hear anything you're talking about because they're thinking about the cocktail they're going to go have after work or something. Number two, though, I would try to place it at the end of the week. So don't ever put meetings like this on for a Monday because people are already stressed out on Mondays. There's a lot to do. They got the whole week in front of them. They're exhausted. They're just stressed out. Fridays are probably the best time. Earlier on a Friday rather than later. Again, later in the day, they're probably already thinking about their weekend plans. But if you can get to them on a Friday, that's when people are in a much more philosophical and open mood to new ideas, and they're going to be much happier to facilitate a solution to whatever issue you're bringing to them because they've sort of got the week behind them and they're feeling very happy because the weekend is coming. So number 5, and this is my final tip for today's episode, what I would do is I would put a positive spin on this issue when you bring it up, right? So don't go in saying, look, this happened, I'm really upset, I'm really frustrated, and this person said this, and then and there's all these negatives, right? Instead, don't even say you're frustrated about anything. I wouldn't even come in and say, look, I've got an issue that we've got to discuss. As I sort of alluded to earlier, I would come in and say, hey, listen, I wanted to talk about a way that we could make our team more efficient. Hey, listen, I wanted to come in and talk about a way that we could restructure the people in the team or the positions that are in the team and what everyone does to make us a lot more successful. Hey, listen, I wanted to come in and sort of talk to you about things I think that we can add to my job, or maybe things we can move away from my plate that will make me a bigger earner for you, right? So come in and try to put a positive spin. I can't emphasize this enough. I probably wouldn't say I'm disgruntled about this or I'm frustrated about that. Again, I wouldn't even mention any of that. I'd come in with a happy face and I'd say, hey, I've been thinking about ways that we can improve things in X, Y, and Z area. Your point is going to get across, right? So again, if you missed a promotion, for example, right, you can come in and say, hey, listen, again, I wanted to talk about ways that we can restructure the team so we can all be more efficient and work better together. Here's this, here's that, here's where I think this person should be, here's the thing that I think this person should be doing. Now, and as for me, so currently I'm at a director level. I do think that if I had a senior director position and then you gave me these 3 additional responsibilities, I really think I would hit those things out of the park. and just thinking about the future, that might be something you'd want to do in terms of moving the chess pieces around on the board. You see how much more positive that is? And it's not, hey, you didn't give me that promotion, you gave it to Jim instead. I'm really upset about that. What is the future of my career at this company? Not really the right way to do it. Quite frankly, even in a performance review, that's not really the right way to do it. Again, you're calling their baby ugly. They just made a decision to promote someone else, not you. And you're saying you made a bad decision. That's not what anyone wants to hear. Again, back to my earlier comment, you also don't know what the context of that was. They might have been getting political pressure. There might be a lot of history with Jim. You don't know what things have happened behind the scenes with Jim where they're forced to give this person the promotion because of a settlement negotiation, right? You just don't know what's happening, and until you do, you should have a much more positive spin on everything and make it that what you want to talk about is how you can make your boss look better, right? And in the process, you're going to heal your own frustrations. So I do want to give you one bonus tip. And the bonus tip is, if you are lucky enough to have established a mentor relationship with someone who's not the person that you're going to go and express all of this to, great, go and talk. This is their moment to shine in your life, right? Like, this is why you've got that mentor. Go talk to that mentor in the cooling off period. That's probably the one person you can safely go and talk to, other than, of course, your spouse or your partner, right? That person you've hopefully chosen wisely is more seasoned, is probably older than you, has been around the block a few times, has probably been through a situation just like this, might even know the company that you're at, might know your boss, might understand the full context of things, right? That person can give you a lot of tips, can really talk you in off the ledge, can probably give you a lot of very specific advice specific to your issue and your situation in terms of how to handle it most successfully. So this goes back to the importance of having mentors, right? Anyways, hope you enjoyed today's episode. As always, please feel free to DM me or drop a comment and let me know if you think I missed anything, or let me know which points you particularly liked, or maybe you disagreed with something. Be sure and subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss future episodes, and I will see you next time from the Office of the CEO.